Welcome to this special behind the scenes video with me, MrSealyp. This video is going to be something a little bit different. A few people asked me about doing mod reviews and how do I go about doing a mod review, what do I have to do to prep and that kind of thing. So I thought I'd do another behind the scenes one. I've done behind the scenes videos of setting up maps for map tours and that kind of thing. And then when I was away with my wife right at the beginning of December and we were working in the same room, she said at the end of one of the days she didn't realise how much actually goes into doing a mod review. So I thought, you know what I'll do is I'll show you. I'm doing the mod review prep for Wednesday the 3rd of February. Whether I'll post it the same day or not, I'm not too sure, but the mod review will come out later on. So before I even start, what I'm doing from about, well, lately it's been from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes midday UK time. I go onto the Farming Simulator website and I check the mods hub in there because stuff will ping up there generally first and then it will then pop up in the mods hub. So I'm constantly checking on there. It used to be about 3 p.m, anytime from about 3 p.m. UK time, but that over the last few weeks has dropped down and down and down. We've had some days where it's been 11 o'clock in the morning UK time. So I'm constantly checking on there. The first thing that normally pops up is updates. So the updates will pop up with the little blue banner on the side of them, and what I'll do is then keep refreshing the page until you get the first of the mods pop up. Then I know all of the updates for that day, hopefully, and this is a lot of this is hopefully, are up. So what I'll do is take a screenshot of that page, and then I'll take that screenshot into Photoshop, do a quick edit. If I need to add anything onto it, I'll add stuff onto it. So I'm just going to show you a quick screenshot of that now. So because I do all of my recording and editing on my PlayStation, I then bring that from Photoshop, ping it onto my PlayStation on a flash drive, USB stick, and then put it in onto the editing software. Then I then come onto the mods hub, which is where I am now. I come onto mods, and then generally speaking, I'll come onto here to start off with, but if I scroll L1 until I get to latest, it will show me, and I'll see the ones that were an update. If I scroll across now, these ones here are the updates, and I can see them because I've got my screen to my right on my PC of the website, so I can keep a track. Now what will often happen is the website will show a load of mods, and often the mods hub will have mods in it that aren't showing up on the website. Not always, but sometimes, and I've been caught out a couple of times like that, so I have to double check backwards and forwards between both of them. So as it stands today, we've only got 8, as long as I don't add more in, because again I've been caught out by that a few times, where you prep everything, you get all the mods ready, you put it into the map, and then all of a sudden they stick a load more mods up. But as it stands today, as at time of recording this, the silo bag there by Chatter Modding, the milk canister, placeable animated pack, wooden shed pack, skid steer leveler, lizard fill bin, shooter marker, Seawork 180, and the Argus 870 are the mods. So what I'll do is install each of those. Now obviously if there are maps, I'll then look at doing the reviews on those later. Like I say, today is not a bad day to actually be doing this, because some days we'll have 20 plus mods, 25 mods, and some of them can be really complicated. Now the next thing I do at this point is then I'll click on each one rather than just download. I'll quickly look at them, get an idea of what the mod's likely to be. The description here doesn't always tell you, it's not always as specific. Now that says milk canister in 2 versions, got a price, got an upkeep per day. There's nothing there about capacity. So in my mind now, I'm already thinking that's a decorative object. But I will still have to check it when I put it into the map I'm going to be doing the mod review on. Silo bag, exactly the same. As far as I can tell, that's an aesthetic thing. So when you've filled up a bunker silo or put it in, compacted and covered it, you throw those on the top, and in the real world, they would weigh down the cover. It can be done with ties, those kind of things. But now in the back of my mind, I'm already thinking, when I set up for the mod review, I'm going to really need to put some chaff into a bunker silo, compact it, cover it, so I can show those being used. So already I'm starting to process what I need to be doing for the mod review. Wooden shed pack, looks like there's two wooden sheds, smaller and bigger, all good. Animated pack, garden shed to store your tools, animated doors and lights. Seasons ready. A functional lift so you can repair and configure your vehicles. So I'm going to want to show that off. Skid steer leveler, fairly straightforward. That's a leveler, again, for silos, for silage clamps, for leveling your chaff or grass and compacting. Lizard field bin, something a little bit different. Required power, capacity, price. I'll have a quick look again and then try and see if there's any pictures. And I'll also be comparing to the website, because on the website there'll be more pictures on the website of the actual mod, often in operation or with a vehicle. So I'll bounce between the two sites on here and on my PC to double check. Again, I've been caught out before sometimes where I haven't double checked and then I've missed something on the mod, and it does happen. That one seems fairly straightforward, corn header. And then the Seawheel 180, I'm looking at it automatically thinking it's a forage trailer, but it might not be. So in my head, okay. Now, the next thing, by popular request, it's something I started doing a little while ago, people wanted to know what the megabyte download was. So I then look on each one, the milk canister, silo bag, wood, shed pack, and I've got a notepad down to my left. I write down the name of all the mods on one side, the name of the modders on the other side, so I've got them to hand when I do the mod review. Then in green pen, I write down what the megabyte count is for each one, so that when I'm doing the review, I can refer to it easily. My eye will go straight to it because I know it's in green. And now I'm ready to, I say now I'm ready to go. Now I'm ready to go onto the map. So, what should happen? I go up to career. I have my test map on No Man's Land, but I have been fiddling around today with the new mod test map. So I'm wondering whether or not, with the mods we've got available today, I think I'm going to give that one a go. So I've already got some money on there. And what I'll do now is I'll deselect all mods, reselect all mods, so any of the new mods that I've just installed will be on there. I've got a load of other stuff here. Sometimes I'll deselect other ones if they're going to be a problem, if I don't want them in the way for the mod review. And what I will often do is I will remove the placeable factories pack, because that's not compatible with all maps and can cause an issue. And I will remove seasons unless the mod that I want to show off requires seasons. Sometimes if you need snow or that kind of thing, I'll do that. So now we're good to go. We can load into the map. Okay, ready to come into the map. Now I do still have, I'm just trying to think, I do still have, because I'm setting this up technically at the moment, I think I've still got the government subsidy signs out, because what I do on my test map, I'll put government subsidy signs out, I'll get the money right up, so I know that anytime I come on to do a mod review, I can lease or buy any equipment, placeables, buildings, anything I need to without being an issue. I've already come on here and started doing some editing on the sort of landscaping side of things to give myself a nice wide open area for putting out vehicles and things like that. And in my mind, I'm also now starting to process what things do I need to show today. If it's a cultivator, does it need to be on a field to show the cultivating? Baler, does it need to be ready to bale? You know, and the beauty with this new map, a lot of the fields are set up and ready to go for that. If it's an animal pen, do I need to make sure the animal pen's placed, and then I need to work out where the triggers are. So I need to put feed in and straw in and water in, all those kind of things. Now I don't have easy development controls as you have on PC. So on PC you can kind of place a lot of stuff and you know, do things you need to. That is something that on PlayStation I have to do myself. So what I am going to do, as you can see, I've got stuff that I have on my maps already which are ready to go. I've got a range of tractors lined up. I've got a loader with a big bag handler on the front. I've got a lorry and I've got a large trailer. That way I can move around bulk goods, I can move around mods, I can get things set up and ready to go. These will be saved on my map. And what I will do, everything I do from this point on, I will not save this again. So I know that when I've done the mod review, I'll double check to make sure it's recorded properly. And then if I leave the game without saving, I know when I come back on tomorrow to do my mods, this is how it will be. back to this, ready to go to set up for the next one. So it's a process I kind of have to go through. So what I'm going to do is use that large trailer, which is 105,000 litres. I'm going to put a load of chaff into the bunker silo, right at the front, compact it, cover it, so I'm ready to show off the silo bags. I'm just trying to think. What I often do is I will place buildings first. Often it will be in that order on the Modhub. You'll see as they pop up on the Modhub, it will be buildings, and then it's often implements, and then it's vehicles normally. It's often why I'll end a mod review on the vehicles, because that's just the order they're in. I don't tend to pick and choose. I just kind of do it in the order they pop up. Now I'm going to start off with buildings, because once the buildings are placed I can fit everything else around that. Now I know today I've got the wooden shed pack, so again this becomes a thing of where is everything. Sometimes it seems obvious, sometimes it's not. I'm hoping it's going to be under sheds, so what I'll do is scroll across until I find the ones I want, which should match up with the pictures on the Modhub. So I've got old, renewed, wooden shed and wooden shed, and what I'm doing now is I'm making a note of the slot count. So the wooden shed pack, we've got 5 and 5. So I'll just put down on here next to that in red, -5 each. So when I look down at my notes, megabytes in green, slot counts in red, I've got the name of the mod, the name of the modder, and hopefully I can, there shouldn't be any other problems. Any other features that stand out for a mod at this point, I will make a note of. It could be something it does, something I want to make sure that when I've got this piece of paper in front of me and I glance down at it, I don't miss something important. So if there's something I really need to make sure I show, I'll put it on the list. Again, that can get missed, it happens. So I'll do them in the order they are on here. Doesn't really matter where I put them. The other thing I want to do is I want to work out where the light is. So the light source is coming from 1125, so kind of over that direction. So I want to put the mods hopefully in an orientation where the light is going to be best so you can see them. That's again generally how I do it. Doesn't always work, but hopefully it will. So I'll swing those round and place those. Like I say, today's not a bad day because we haven't got many mods. I was just thinking if I was trying to do this on a day where we have got 25, 30 mods, or sometimes you get a mod pack that's got 10, 15 items in it. It may look like there's only 5 mods, then you add on a mod pack, and then you start getting into a lot of mods to be looking at. The next one is the placeable animated pack. Now I'm thinking it's going to be decoration or miscellaneous. I'll scroll through, but what I have found straight away is the canisters. They're under decorative. So what I'm also going to do is next to my milk canister note on my pad, I'm going to write deck. So I know that when I come to do this, because again, how many times have you watched one of my mod reviews where I've said, oh, where was this? I think it's in, don't have to go and search. If I write down there, I know now it's in decoration. Neither of those have a capacity, so now I know those are decorative objects. So what I can do is put them, it doesn't matter where I put them. They're quite small, so I'll put both of those down there. The thing with these, and what I'm also doing at this point is thinking, when I start to talk about them, what are the pros and cons? What are the pluses? What might be good about that particular mod? Why is that particularly going to stand out from other mods? What will be good about it? Why would you want to download it? So I'm already kind of trying to think. I don't write down a script, but I've already started thinking about what do I want? What do I need? So I'm hoping these are under miscellaneous. There we go. So the garden house and the car lift are both in here. 8 and 2. So I'm going to write that down. If I can find it on my list. -8, -2. Again, so when I come to my notes, I know. The garden house, I'm going to put a little bit further along. Actually, I want to swing it round. So that block on the front, again, this is where you can get caught out, is where the door opens. That shows you where the animation for the door is going to be. The amount of times I've placed mods and realised they're the wrong way round, I've made a mistake, Now, this is where I also need to think, of the mods that are out today, what do I want to use for my thumbnail? What's going to be one that will draw people's attention? What are people going to think, well, that's a cool mod? Some days, and people won't mind me saying this, some days you look at the mods and you think, how am I going to get a thumbnail from these? You know, what about these mods is going to make people look and go, I want to watch that mod review? For me, the car lift is an interesting mod, something a bit different. We've got toolbox mods and things, and we've got car lifts within buildings, but not a separate one. That might be quite interesting as part of a thumbnail, potentially. But what I might do is place another one of those somewhere else to get my thumbnail. Again, haven't quite decided that yet, but I might well do. If I bring it right to the front, because there's another one that I am actually quite interested in looking at. So, that's the buildings as far as I can tell. Oh yeah, silo bags. Where would they likely to be? Are they going to be under silos? I would think they're going to be under miscellaneous. I might just have to look further through miscellaneous. But I'll check under silos just in case they're not. So I would say then it's going to be under miscellaneous. Well, that's weird. Have I missed them? No, hang on. Again, so here we are automatically. I'm thinking, well, that's odd. They should be, but they might not be under placeables. They could be under objects because it's something that you buy and place. So potentially, I need to check under objects. If they're not under, I don't know where they're going to be. There we go. So we've got silo bag 1, 2, and 3. They are one slot each. So again, I'm going to write down there -1 each. And then I've just got to buy them. So I'm going to probably need to put them into a pickup bed or on the back of a trailer to transport them to wherever I'm going to need them. If I get a couple of each, I don't want to go mad. I just want to be able to show them what do they look like, how do you move them around, and in the context of how they would be used. So that's the silo bags. What else was it? I need to make sure that's it for placeables. So what I'm going to do now is continue that process with the rest of the mods. So I'll get the mods out, and then what I'll do is I'll show you where they are, how I've placed them, why I've placed them, how I have. And then the sort of the process that I work through next to get myself ready to actually start doing the mod review. Okay, I'm back again, and I'm not completely finished setting up. What I thought I would do was add another couple of little bits in. Things like the silo bags, I've grabbed a pickup, so there's vehicles that I'll need ad hoc as I go along. The skid steer loader I needed because I had a skid steer attachment. I don't always have one of those because you don't always have skid steer attachments. So while I'm moving the silo bags over towards the bunker silo, not only am I just putting them in the back of the pickup, I'm checking to see, okay, one, how do you pick them up? Do they pick up normally like everything else does? Can you pick them up? Can you throw them? Which absolutely you can. The other thing I'm going to be looking for is do they strap down? You know, so these are all things that you can highlight when you're doing the mod review. Now, as I've already said, there aren't as many mods today. On a day where you've got lorries, where you've got tractors, where you've got something with a lot of moving parts, with a lot of options, when you're in the mod hub looking at what the actual slot count is, you're also looking at all the options available, as you can imagine when you look at them. And if you've seen any of my mod reviews, you'll know, obviously I haven't got any modded ones on at the moment, but I will go in, I'll look at the price, I'll look at the tyre options, I'll look at the wheel setups, engine options, colour options, you know, whatever it might be that's available. And again, anything on there that stands out, I'll make a note of. If there's something I think, oh, that's, you know, that's an important point that I think people want to see. Today, the canisters or the lizard field bins are the ones that I'm already thinking, okay, they're something a little bit different. They weren't in the place, I mean, I say they were in the place I thought they might be, but again, not somewhere necessarily obvious. So what I'm going to do is place these down, hopefully one of each, because there's 3 in the pack, so you can see them, but I want to put them somewhere where they're going to be in the light so you can see them to start off with. And then I'm going to grab the lorry and I'm going to put a load of chaff in here, which will need compacting. That might be one I'm trying to think, looking at the different versions on here. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we're going to look at them in store, but it's certainly, you know, worth having a look at. As far as putting stuff into the bunker silo, again, those little things you don't have to do I think it's what makes a more complete mod review. Sometimes I don't always do those things. Now that's done its job, I don't need the pickup anymore, so I can go into that straight away and I can remove it. That's another reason for putting the government subsidy signs in. I have millions sitting there, and also why I don't save it. I come back out because it all resets again. It doesn't matter. I don't need that pickup again. At least I don't think I need that pickup again. You'd also see that I've got a buy anything silo, I've got the sell silo, I've also got the CNS and Marie one that you can get really cheap stuff from again. Again, that doesn't matter so much whether you can get cheap stuff, because I'm putting money in for the test map. As long as I can fill things up, and if I get too much of stuff I can dump it if I need to. That will stay on the map all the time as well anyway. As I thought, the scooter marker is a forage trailer. The Argus header, I could grab a harvester to show it. Sometimes, again, if it doesn't do anything majorly different to anything that we've got in game already, I'll often leave it. Just have a look and say, you know, this is a corn header. It does what it does. If it folds in an unusual way, if it had a trailer that came with it, if it's stored differently, if there were a load of colour options, I might look at it in a bit more detail. But in all honesty, it's a corn header and it will go with the Russell mesh, so I'm not too bothered about that. These are the interesting ones for me today, and I like these because they look different. They're a clever idea, so that is also going to be part of my thumbnail. So I'm already again processing how am I going to set this up. That I'm going to do in a minute, because what I'm going to do is grab the lorry. I'm going to grab 105,000 litres of chaff or grass, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to dump it in the silo, compact it, and then hopefully cover it. At this point, I'll also be looking at, you can imagine as well, on days when you get something from 82 Studio, Zanarco, or I'm trying to think of the guys that, you know, some of the guys that do the absolutely, you know, tons and tons of options. NMC 10.2 with a lot of their vehicles and machinery, it can be a minefield. And that's also when you get that situation where you miss something. You know, you've got 25 plus mods on a given day. Some of those mods have got 40 plus different options on them, and you do miss something, and it happens. It still surprises me that people will comment and say, oh, you missed blah blah blah. And that's another reason I kind of wanted to give a bit of a rundown on what I do and how I set it up. It is very easy to do. It's very easy to miss something. I also get people saying, you know, I've had this conversation before about, you know, in my mind I'm already thinking, how am I going to put these mods across? And people still saying to me, well, if something's rubbish, you should say it's rubbish, you know, and why are you always so excitable and happy about all the mods that come out? I'm not always, you know, but at the end of the day, my job is to say my job. That's another one of those things that people say, your job is to blah, blah. This is what I do for a living. I make YouTube videos and I do Let's Plays, I do mod reviews. But if I was miserable all the time and always slating mods and modders and stuff, very quickly people are like, why do we want to watch that? I'm always trying to find the positives. With any of the mods that come out, I will show the negatives. I will say, oh, this doesn't work, or I haven't been able to get this to work, or this seems to be a problem. But I will always try to look for the positives. And those are the things I want to highlight. I want people to look at one and go, oh, I like the look of that. I want to get that for this reason or that reason. Let's say it's something I do try to do. It's not always that easy to do, but I try my best. Now, bearing in mind as well, I want to compact this. I don't want to have one massive mound. I want to try and level it a bit. But this is one of those things that when you then watch the mod review, your mind doesn't necessarily think, God, I must have taken him ages to put that all in there and compact it and prep it and cover it just to show off those silo bags. I could have just said, look, there's 4 silo bags you put on top of a bunker silo. It's something my brother and my dad used to say as well, that if you watch a film or anything at all and it's right, if it's done right, if it's done well, you don't notice anything. Everything runs smoothly and swimmingly and everything looks wonderful. If it's not done right, if you watch a film and the music scores off, the piece of music for the scene doesn't fit, you realise you suddenly think something's off about this. I've watched a couple of films where there's been no music at all, and you start watching it and thinking, What's different about this? What's weird? What's odd? And then your mind suddenly thinks, hang on a minute, there's no music. So often a mistake or the absence of something is far more glaring. If it all runs smoothly, people just go, oh, that was all right, that was good. But I think the problem with that is people can forget what goes into it. What happened behind the scenes to make it good. Now, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet. I'm not trying to say, you know, look, please think that what I'm doing is really good. I'm just trying to put it into perspective. For anyone's thinking of doing these, or, you know, just a bit of behind the scenes. So I've got a few more bits to drag out, a few more bits to put into containers, and then I think we'll be almost there. Thumbnail, I have to consider light, I have to consider angle, composition. Again, that doesn't always work. Sometimes I'll get to edit my thumbnail and think, oh, you know, that doesn't look quite right. Often you do the best you can. If it's not quite right, there's not a lot you can do about it. Now for me, this is the perfect opportunity as well to check out this leveler. It's not always the case, because if I've got a leveler, I might not have anything with chap in, but while I've got it and I've got to compact that stuff anyway, it's a good opportunity to just look and say, well, okay, well, what does this actually do? It doesn't turn on, but how well does it level? Bearing in mind it's for a skid steer loader and bunker silos are pretty big, how well does it level? I would say, straight off the bat, actually, that's quite incredible. That's way more than I thought it was going to do straight off the bat. That is wow. So again, I know that I can show that off really quite well. So in my mind, I'm also thinking, you know what I could do now is I could just do a little clip, because I want to have this covered, ready to go to show off the silo bags. I could do a short clip now showing on the mod review how this works, and I can say when I'm doing the mod review, I'm going to cut to that now. So again, all different ways of looking at things, so I'll probably do that now. And so at this point, with everything set up, you would think you're done, and hopefully you are. But what I would do at this point, what I do at this point, is I'll look down my list, I'll look at my mods, I'll look at how I've set them out to show them. Now I know that I've laid them out in a different order to how they are on my sheet, because it's just the way it ended up. Sometimes it works better. You want to try, if possible, to have a bit of a flow as you go around. Sometimes I'll cut between, and that's when the editing comes in. That all comes in later on, and you will often find you'll go in and you'll realise where you've waffled, where you've said something wrong, or you know, sometimes you'll go to say something and you'll pause, and when you come back to edit, you'll think the pause is just too long, so you just cut chunks out. That all comes at editing. But at this point, I'm already starting to think, okay, how do I say things? How am I going to talk them through? What am I going to say? But it's always the mod you least expect that catches you out. That's when it becomes a little bit trickier, and that's when you're in the middle of doing the mod review, when you're in your flow, and a mod that you took for granted as assuming it was a certain way jumps up and bites you. And one that did it the other day was one of the silos, and it was the one by AAA Modding. Because when I put it down, it's a silo. That's the capacity, that's what it costs, that's where you put stuff in, that's where you take stuff out. It's a silo. How much more complicated than that can it be? So then when I actually came to do the review and took the trailer over to tip into it, the trigger wouldn't come up. At that point, you're then you're just freestyling at that point, because you think, okay, well, you've got to fight fires. You've got to then think what could be causing that and kind of do it on the fly. What you try to do before you do the mod review at this point now is eradicate as many problems as you possibly can. Get rid of any issues. Try and work out or find out what any problems with any given piece of equipment or machinery or building is. For me, the bane of my existence, light switches on buildings. Find them if you can, because it will always be, you'll go around thinking, well, it's obvious, you know, it's going to be there somewhere, and then you can't find it. So I mean, like I say, this has been a little bit easier. I haven't had to go into huge depth with regard to certain mods, because there haven't been any mods today that have got that huge detail to them, but it's probably an easier way of getting a bit of a behind the scenes and introduction as to kind of what goes on, what goes into it. I'll do the recording, then I've got to take it away, I've got to edit it. The thumbnail I've taken on my PlayStation, I will then move on memory stick over to my PC on Photoshop. I'll edit the thumbnail. So I've already done the updates, that's gone one way. I'll do the thumbnail, that then comes back, all gets put together, gets edited, then it gets uploaded. So there's a fair bit to it. But I love it. I love it when new mods come out. I love it when new stuff pops up, things that surprise you. I love it when you get a mod that you think is one way and turns out to be something completely different. It's very cool, and I'm very lucky to be able to do it, and I'm very lucky that people want to watch it. I hope you've enjoyed this behind the scenes. This will lead directly into the mod review. Now, obviously, the mod review is going to come first. I'm going to post that. This will come later. I'll probably put a link between the two. But you can then kind of see, if you've watched the mod review already, you'll get an idea of what went into building up to that. So I've got my piece of paper in front of me. I've got everything I need. This is where I'm going to start. I'll see you on the mod review. Hope you found this interesting. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.